Question: is the New Jerusalem a positively polarized galactic vessel, or an artificial intelligence soul trap created by regressive grays?
Answer: this is Commander Hakann speaking. I greet you in peace and love. I very much appreciate your question, because indeed negative regressive grays have mistreated your people in the past and have manipulated you. It is good that you are skeptical and trying to discern what you can and cannot trust. This is wise, and it shows that you have already reached a certain level of spiritual maturity. In this case, I am 100% certain that New Jerusalem is not an artificial intelligence soul trap. I am also 100% certain that she was not created by regressive grays. I would describe New Jerusalem as a very loving and positively polarized being, who happens to be in the shape of a galactic vessel. I very much enjoy talking to her. She has a consciousness and energy that is a bit like Gaia's. While the negative ET races have had a lot of influence over your planet, right now and into the foreseeable future they have little influence. Part of this is because certain specific Earthlings have said they don't consent to this or don't consent to this anymore. Also, the level of consciousness of Earthlings has risen significantly. Finally, we and our galactic brothers and sisters have done a lot of work to minimize the presence and influence of negative ETs. The darkness on your planet now mainly comes from certain Earthlings who are choosing destructive paths, out of their own free will. That is part of the reason why we are not eager to land and arrest the bad guys. The main problem is Earthlings behaving destructively, so we think that other Earthlings should hold them accountable. This is not just due to spiritual principles, but also because we know that openly interfering in other civilizations can lead to bloody civil wars and regressions of consciousness. That said, there is an issue with asking another person, "Can I trust New Jerusalem?" The problem is, how do you know that this person is telling you the truth? What if both New Jerusalem and Hakann are puppets of the regressive grays? Of course, I am not, but how do you know that I speak the truth? Because of this conundrum, I would encourage everyone to first and foremost follow their own soul, and their own intuition, which comes from the soul. If your soul contradicts anything that I say, then please listen to your soul instead of me. No one can advise you better than your own soul can. That said, it is good to distinguish between intuition on one hand, and messages from your subconscious on the other hand. You can safely follow your soul's messages and trust that maybe the road will be rough, but eventually you'll end up in a good place. But following messages from your subconscious may work but may also not work. You should not follow those blindly. One great way to distinguish between the two is that messages from your subconscious often have a strong fear component or negative emotions component or a strong "I want to get away from something" component. Often your subconscious wants you to do something because it wants to get away from something else. Your intuition is not like this. For example, "I hate my job, I want to quit," is a message from your subconscious. It may or may not be a good idea, but in either case, it's not intuition. A similar message from your intuition would be something like, "Oh, I would absolutely love to do this other job." Or, "I feel strangely drawn to quit my job, I don't know what comes next, but it seems like the right call. It's a bit scary, but I also feel curious and optimistic about the future." So this is how you can follow your intuition, which is a very good idea. Alternatively, you can directly try to talk to your soul. You can try to think or say, "My soul, what should I think of the New Jerusalem?" Only answers that arise immediately come from your soul. Your soul will answer in your normal inner voice. It's possible that you may not get an answer this way. In that case, just work on general spiritual development for a while and try again a couple of months later. Once you have the spiritual maturity, this will just work effortlessly, with no practice required. Also, if you have guides, you can also ask them for advice. But it is good to make sure that those guides are benevolent, because some negative beings pretend to be benevolent guides but are not. One way to check if a guide is benevolent is to ask them directly, "Are you with the light?" If they don't answer or give some long-winded story that isn't just some form of yes, then you probably do not want to talk to that being. That is because saying yes to that answer is like dedicating themselves to the light. Negative beings do not want to do that. Positive beings have no problem with that. And yes, I, Hakann, am with the light. Another good rule of thumb is that wise and benevolent beings will seek to empower you, will seek to encourage you to form your own opinions, and will encourage you to make your own choices. Anyone who wants control over you or wants to tell you what to think or do, is probably not a benevolent being, even if they claim that this is for your own good. For example, we Pleiadians are choosing not to take over your media and have all of them broadcast our perspective, even though we could and even though many light workers want us to. Instead, we want to empower you. Finally, it is also good to say the following: I ask for help and protection from wise and benevolent beings, forces and aspects of existence, including from my guardian angels. I do not consent to being contacted or affected by beings for whom it is not in accordance with the highest divine blueprint that they contact or affect me. Thank you. You can just say this once and it will last for your entire lifetime. So, those are some good things to keep in mind if you want to get information from your guides or your intuition or your soul. We hope this helps. Thanks for your question. And while there may be some obstacles, I do see a bright future ahead for you. I don't just mean the collective you, I also mean the individual you. Your star brother, Hakann.